Gomez knows all about fame, but sadly, most of what she's learned she found out the hard way. Though her name rarely leaves the celeb gossip magazines, there's a lot the public never knew about her struggles and the unfathomable pressure of being in the spotlight's glare. Now she's released a new documentary to tell the world what she's been through, and fans are surprised by just how candid she's being. Unimaginable. The documentary is called My Mind Me, and the official synopsis explains the aim. It reads, after years in the limelight, Selena Gomez achieves unimaginable stardom. But just as she reaches a new peak, an unexpected turn pulls her into darkness. This uniquely raw and intimate documentary spans her 6-year journey into a new light: documentary filmmaking. The director of My Mind Me is Alec Kashishian, and you might recognize the name. He's made in-depth films about the inner lives of celebrities before he's the person who directed Madonna Truth or Dare. That was back in 1991, before Selena Gomez was even born, and it's still considered one of the most revealing and hard-hitting celebrity documentaries ever made. True to her word. Just before the documentary aired, Kashishian gave people a taste of what to expect in a November 2022 article in Rolling Stone magazine. He said, "I told Gomez, for me to do this, you would need to give me full access to everything. That's what Madonna gave me, and she said, 'No, I'll give it to you,' and I said, 'Well, you're 24. I want to make sure you're okay with what you're promising.' We had a trial run, and she stayed true to her word. She let me have access to film everything." Uncertainty. In that same article, Gomez explained she very nearly didn't sign off on the finished documentary. "I don't want that to sound dramatic, but I almost wasn't going to put this out," she told Rolling Stone. God's honest truth. A few weeks ago I wasn't sure I could do it, but she agreed to let it air in the end, and now everyone's been able to see what she has to say. Full display. But Rolling Stone delivered its own take on the documentary, saying, "Any preliminary ideas that this might be a puff piece or vanity project are shattered 5 minutes in." When the mental anguish that caused Gomez to cancel her 2016 revival tour early and check herself into a treatment facility is on full, painful, tearful display, the cameras do not stop rolling, and the next hour plus provides one of the least sugar-coated explorations of mental illness one is likely to find on film: bipolar disorder. So what exactly caused Gomez's mental health struggles? It was a combination of things, but perhaps the most significant one was this: she had untreated bipolar disorder. Her friend Raquel explains in the documentary, "I just remember it being very chaotic. She was hearing all these voices, and they just kept getting louder and louder. That just triggered some sort of psychotic break. Dark thoughts. It was so bad that Gomez even had thoughts of taking her own life." Her assistant Teresa remembered, at one point she's like, "I don't want to be alive right now. I don't want to live," and I'm like, wait, what? It was one of the moments where you look in her eyes and there was nothing there. It was so scary. Nervous breakdown. This psychotic break badly affected Gomez's relationship with her parents. When she was taken to hospital, her mother Mandy only heard about it via the website TMZ. "They called me and wanted to know what my daughter was doing in the hospital with a nervous breakdown," she says in the doc. "She didn't want anything to do with me, and I was scared she was going to die." Diagnosis. Pain. Taking a diagnosis was the first step towards Gomez getting back on track with her life, but obviously she was scared at the outset. She tells Kashishian's cameras, "When I first got out, I didn't know how I would cope with my diagnosis. What if it happened again? What if the next time I didn't come back? I needed to learn about it. I needed to take it day by day." Support system. It was her family who helped her through everything, even though she'd pushed them away. Gomez cries as she says, "I have the greatest friends and family, especially my mum and stepdad Brian, because I shouldn't have spoken to them the way that I did. And I shouldn't have treated them the way that I did sometimes. They explained to me, they're like, 'Look, I know that that's not you talking and we're really concerned. We love you. defeating loneliness. The sheer loneliness of mega fame had played a factor in Gomez's breakdown as well, and that was another reason she needed a strong support system. Fame, it made me feel lonely somehow, she admits. Then when I started touring, it just got worse. After I got out of the last treatment center, I knew what made me happy. It was connection. Lupus. There was a physical component to Gomez's illness too. Lupus had wreaked absolute havoc on her life, and it naturally affected her mental health. Shots of her in pain from the condition are captured in the documentary, and the harsh reality of it is shown to the world. When I wake up, I immediately start crying because it hurts, Gomez says. Kidney transplant. Luckily, her loved ones helped with that as well. One of them, her friend Francia Reza, even gave her a kidney back in 2017 when Gomez's organ became unusable due to lupus. Interestingly though, Reza doesn't appear in the documentary at all. Yet despite the transplant, Gomez still suffers painful flare-ups due to the nature of the condition, and obviously that takes its toll. Medical treatment. The documentary even shows Gomez talking to her doctor about treatments. As it turns out, a drug called Rituxan would be able to help with the pain. I just always feel better when I have answers, but the Rituxan was really hard to do last time, Gomez says. It's about 4 hours, 5 hours. It's really hard on your system at first, but it's okay. Body issues. The documentary also goes into Gomez's body image issues, something she's spoken about before. In 2019, she told Eat Canada, "I have lupus and deal with kidney issues and high blood pressure, so I deal with a lot of health issues. And for me, that's when I really started noticing the body image stuff." It didn't help that her medication affected her weight, wanting a different body. But when you're on stage, image is a big deal, and that affected Gomez a lot. She is filmed preparing for her revival tour and trying on the costumes, but not liking how she looks. She says while the cameras are rolling, "I want to have the body to wear it proudly. I want to have booty that I don't have. My body is very young, sucking the life out." She says she wants to look like a woman and not a 12-year-old boy, but that wasn't her only insecurity. While rehearsing the tour, Gomez ends up in tears at one point, saying, "It just sucks, all of it. It looks so bad. I'm sitting there and I'm tripping over the clothes. It sucks the life out of me and I don't want to perform. Good enough." Meh. The documentary also tackles that one big relationship for which Gomez is known, her time with Justin Bieber. And as it turned out, Gomez was frustrated over having to be a package deal with him for so long. "When am I just going to be good enough by myself?" she asks at one point. The footage also reveals her thoughts on the relationship these days. Haunted. Though she doesn't actually say Bieber's name, she reflects on the end of a bad relationship while talking about the song "Lose You to Love Me." She says, "The song is about knowing that you completely lost every part of who you are just to rediscover yourself again. Everything was so public. I felt haunted by a past relationship that no one wanted to let go of, but then I just moved past it and I wasn't afraid anymore." What needed to happen? In fact, she seems pretty glad to have broken up with Bieber, who of course is now married to Hailey Baldwin. In the footage she says, "I feel like I had to go through the worst possible heartbreak ever, and then just forgetting everything at the drop of a hat. It was really confusing. But I just think that needed to happen, and ultimately it was the best thing that ever happened to me." Holding her back. There. At one point during the documentary, Gomez is asked what is holding her back. She answers that "I'm not good enough. I don't know, that's something that I felt a lot of growing up." Still, she seems to be getting to a place now where she does feel she's good enough, but it takes a lot of hard mental work to get there. Dealing with it. And luckily, Gomez isn't ashamed about any of it either. She says, "I had to learn things that completely fell out of my mind. It was like, hey, you're not a bad person. You're not a gross person. You're not crazy. You're not any of this. But you're going to have to deal with this. I know it's a lot, but this is the reality." Being friends. Gomez also says, towards the end of the documentary, I found having a relationship with bipolar and myself, it's going to be there and it's going to be my friend. I think that I needed to go through that to be who I am, and I'm going to keep going through it. But I'm really happy. And she has plans for the future too. Questions. Musing on how close she came to death during her long battle to reclaim herself, Gomez poses the question, why am I alive? Clearly for something. Love my friends, love my family. I think I'm a great daughter, think I'm a great friend. Clearly, I'm still here to use whatever I have to help somebody else, and that's what she's setting out to do. Answers. In no answers. Gomez speaks in the documentary about some ideas she has to help others with mental health issues. She explains during a dinner, one of my goals in life, I've had this in my mind for 7 years, is to create a bill where it is required to have a therapy sort of class from elementary school on to high school, talking to people. She also went to Kenya during the filming of the documentary and spoke to people there about their own struggles with mental health. This was something that clearly had a big impact on her, as she says later on, talking to someone about mental health in Kenya. That's beautiful. I don't know if I felt like, oh, I did it, and I'm such a great person. No, it's just the beginning for me. Power. The Rolling Stone article about the documentary took in Gomez's new beginning and her fight to raise awareness of mental illnesses. She'd actually visited the White House in 2022 to promote her idea of mental health therapy in schools.